You ever come home and just know something's wrong before you even get out of the car? That was me, pulling into my driveway after a weekend away, staring at the spot where my willow trees used to stand, and seeing nothing but stumps. Just bare, raw stumps, like someone carved out a piece of my soul and left it bleeding in the dirt. Yeah, they did it. The HOA actually came onto my land and cut down my trees. Without my permission, without warning. All because they wanted a better view. Let me back up a sec. I live in this quiet cul-de-sac on the edge of a development called Willow Bend Lakeside. Ironic name, considering what happened. My house is older than most here. Backyard backs up into a little wooded area. Peaceful, private. And those two weeping willows? They weren't just trees. They were legacy. I planted one with my wife when we moved in. The other one was already there, older than most of the neighborhood. They shaded the garden, drank up water like crazy, and made our yard feel like a small piece of another world. At first, the HOA was whatever. You know, passive-aggressive letters about leaving trash bins out or seasonal decor lingering past January. Then this woman named Marcia Delaney gets elected board president, and suddenly everything's about property values and aesthetic cohesion. And of course, she lives 2 lots uphill, with a view of the lake, partially blocked by my willows. I knew trouble was brewing when I got this newsletter, worded all sweet, but basically suggesting residents consider thinning or removing obstructive vegetation. No names, but come on, it was clearly aimed at me. So I go to the next HOA meeting just to see what's up. And there it is, a crude map with my lot, number 42, marked with a giant red X. Marcia's up front with her little laser pointer, saying how some homes suffer from diminished sightlines. She's talking like I'm hiding the Grand Canyon behind my trees. I stood up, calm, polite, and said, "Those trees are mature, healthy, and have been part of this neighborhood longer than your house, Marcia." She smiled that tight HOA smile and hit me with, "We all have to make sacrifices for the good of the community." I said no. I even offered a compromise, have them professionally thinned. I got an arborist report, sent formal letters, cited my property rights. But none of it mattered. The letters from the HOA got nastier, more aggressive, started threatening fines, violations, the kind of stuff that makes your stomach turn. And then the twist. See, I thought they were just bluffing. I mean, who brings in a tree crew and trespasses on someone else's land over a view? Apparently Marcia does. I was gone 3 days. Just 3. Came home, and the air felt different. You know what I mean? Like the wind blew through too easy. I looked up, and my willows were gone. Completely wiped out. Just mud, sawdust, and tire tracks where my garden used to be. I called the police, filed a report. They said it was probably civil, not criminal, unless I could prove malicious intent. So that's what I did. I documented everything. Every letter, every meeting note, every weird little side comment from Marcia. I even had a voicemail from Gerald, the HOA treasurer, accidentally venting to a neighbor about Marcia's war on trees. I hired a lawyer. Her name's Erica Bloom. Sharp, relentless, and allergic to HOA nonsense. She took one look at my binder and said, "Oh yeah, we're suing." But here's the wild part. Nature started fighting back, too. A week after the trees were gone, it rained. Not a downpour, just a light spring shower. Normally, my yard dries up in hours. But this time, it didn't. The ground stayed damp, then spongy, then swampy. I thought it was just me, until Gerald shows up on his back porch poking at his lawn with a stick, looking like he stepped into a rice paddy. Marcia's yard turned even worse. Her robotic lawnmower got stuck in a puddle and drowned. Her roses withered. And then came the mosquitoes, thick clouds of them, like biblical punishment. Turns out, those willows weren't just pretty. They were working. Willows drink hundreds of gallons of water a day. They'd been quietly managing an underground spring under my property for decades. So when they were cut, the water came back. We hired a hydrogeologist, Dr. Nina Carr. She found old maps, soil records, everything. My land, before development, used to be wetland. The willows kept it livable. Without them, it reverts. The kicker? That spring flows downhill, straight through Marcia's and Gerald's yards. Our case was airtight. Erica filed a lawsuit for trespassing, destruction of property, environmental negligence, the works. And during discovery, we got our smoking gun, meeting minutes where Marcia literally said, "He'll whine, but once the trees are gone, we'll all benefit." Their defense? They tried to say it was community decision-making, then claimed it was an act of God. But Dr. Carr's report dismantled that. So did the timing. Everything was fine until the trees were cut. After that, Swamp City. They folded. Mediation was brutal. I sat across from Marcia as Erica laid out every photo, every report, every stupid email. Marcia couldn't even look at me. Her mouth was a thin as a angry line the entire time. They ended up settling. Big time. I got full compensation for the trees, value, emotional distress, the drainage system. They paid all my legal fees, and they had to read a public apology at the next HOA meeting, in full, out loud, with Marcia in attendance. Oh, and they had to cover the cost of regrading my land and installing a complex drainage system, designed by Dr. Carr. It cost 3 times what leaving the willows alone would have. And the twist? Even after all that, their land stayed soggy. Their yards became marshes. The HOA had to turn the park into a rain garden. Gerald moved out. Marcia? She stuck around for a while, but her house was basically unsellable. Eventually, she left too. Quietly. No goodbye. Me? I replanted. Not willows, but something close. My yard healed. Slowly. And I started going to HOA meetings. Sat in the back. Never said much. Just listened. Sometimes I walk by Marcia's old house. The grass is patchy. Still smells damp. You can hear the sump pumps running all day. And that lake view she wanted so bad, it's still there, just framed by mud and mosquitoes. Funny how that works. They thought they were cleaning up the neighborhood, but they just flushed themselves out. So what do you think? Did I go too far? Or did they get exactly what they deserved? Let me know in the comments. Where's the line between community rules and personal property? Have you ever fought back against a petty HOA? I want to hear your story.